Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thank you all for joining. This is my Ask Bill series. My name is Bill Dow. I have 29 years of hands-on experience with both PMOs and project management. If you do have a question, and tons of questions have been coming in, so thank you for that. Email at billdow@dowpublishingllc.com or come check me out on Facebook and ask your question there. So let's jump into this week's sessions of 5 questions. Okay, and here they are. What are the prospects of getting a good project management opportunity after completing the PMP certification? This comes from Cora. I love this question because I think it's critical. I think when you're thinking about project management and coming into that career, you have to get certified. As a hiring manager for over 20 years, I only look for PMP certification folks. If they don't have their certification, I will definitely talk to them. But I really look for that because I look for that foundational knowledge. I look to be able to say risk management, issue management, procurement management, and really have that foundational discussion. So I think that's important. And so I think it's a really, really important aspects of getting that. And I think you will find a job and find an opportunity with that certification. Certainly you'll find one more than you wouldn't if you didn't have that certification. So I think that's critical. Number 2, what's the difference between the PMP exam and the CSM exam? Well, there's a huge difference between the two, right? And this came from a Facebook group. And so the PMP is a project management professional exam. This is giving you the foundation of project management. This is giving you not the methodology, the processes, the terminology, and all the goodness around the project management profession. The CSM, the Certified Scrum Master, is really helping you become a Scrum Master to be able to run Scrum projects, right? And so I've got certified in both. And so my Scrum Master certification is one that helps me drive Scrum teams, move that Scrum team and that Agile team forward. But the PMP certification gives me that project management background. So very different exams, very different criteria, very different questions. It's a great question, but we do have to look at these very differently because they just are fundamentally different. What are the best project management books out there? Well, that's a loaded question. That came from my customer, and so I forgot to put that, but that's okay. That came directly this week from my customer. They were looking at my books, and they said, hey, your books are great. So my Tactical Guide for Building a PMO, my Project Management Communication Tools book, my PMO Lifecycle, Building, Running, and Shutting Down. They're all out on Amazon. But what are some of the other books out there? Well, the PMBOK, right? The Lazy Project Manager from Peter Taylor. Mark Perry Price has got the Business Driven PMOs. There are just Harold Kirshner's got a number of books. Eric Versatile has got a number of books. Elizabeth Aaron has got a number of books. So just actually go Google or Bing top project management books. You're going to see a ton of books out there. I admire all those folks that build those books, and I've got copies of their books, and so I strongly suggest you get copies as well. Question 4, what are the PMO methodologies do you use? Well, that's interesting, right? Because when you think about PMO methodologies, when I think about a PMO methodology, I think about the fundamental foundation of how to run a PMO. I'm not talking about a project management methodology. I'm not talking about a portfolio or a program or an agile methodology. When I think of a PMO methodology, I think about how you execute your PMO. What's the methodology of executing your PMO? And a lot of people that are in the PMO manager space don't necessarily think that same way because they're thinking about around how to execute the project, how to execute the program. But I think we have to take this at a higher level and step up and we say, what's the methodology to build the PMO? What's the methodology to run the PMO? What's the methodology to shut down the PMO? When you grab all those steps and all those processes, that's the methodology when you think about a PMO methodology. That makes sense? So yeah, so again, comment in the comments below. But when I think about a methodology, and this actually came from a Facebook group, which is, sorry I didn't put that there. But again, I think about that methodology of building, running, and shutting down, which has a tremendous amount of process, tremendous amount of time, but there's a tremendous amount of structure to that as well. What is project issue management? And one of my customers was asking about that. They were having some problems on a current project around issue and risk management. So I wanted to build that question here. When you think about issue management from a pure project management perspective, issues are things that are occurring right now in the project. They're issues, they're happening. And so I think one of the fundamental aspects of running a project is how proactive and how active are you in running your issues and taking care of your issues and really closing off your issues as fast as possible. And so when I think about issue management, I think about the steps and the processes of getting in front of these things that are currently happening today and helping resolve. So bringing them up an issue in your project's weekly status meeting, working with your executives, working with your issue owners, but really closing these things off as fast as possible. And so you're preventing any negative impacts on your project. Right? Risks are things that could occur. Issues are currently occurring. And I think a lot of project managers are not putting that due diligence around issue management, things that are occurring right now. And so I think that we really got to step that up from that perspective. So my name is Bill Dow. Again, questions, Bill Dow at DowPublishingLLC.com. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great one. Thanks.